All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another session for BASPRG2. Now, it's been a while, no? 2 weeks. Uh, since last week was, it was rain. It was all the rain and stuff. Now, hopefully, well, yeah, there's some naman who was able to submit. Pero, yeah, not, may mga iba rin na yun. But it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Uh, I've checked yung mga ibang quizzes nyo. Well, yeah, the last quiz and also the exercises. The most recent quiz, I think I'll finish this by this weekend. No, it should be okay na by this weekend. So, ayun. Um, After I check it, we'll see by next week if kung ano, what the plan will be for your audit for the people who were not able to submit. So here, if I do plan to open again the quizzes, I the highest grade that you can get if you let's say you haven't submitted, you did not submit, no. The highest grade you can get is just a passing grade lang. Like let's say over 100, you only get 70. That's the highest you can get. Kahit na you're able to get to complete all the requirements and maganda yung code quality, whatnot, still the highest that you can get will only be the passing grade. Why? It's more of para fair naman, no? Kasi yung mga the other students who passed it early, they're able to they're able I mean who passed it on the kung kailan ko nirelease yung quiz, at least they get they have the chance to get a higher grade, no? Pero since yun nga, we're already way past that quiz, so yun. Passing grade lang yung yung kaya ko ibigay. Now, the length, the duration of me opening the those quizzes will just probably be 1 week. 1 week for all the quizzes and exercises. All right. So why 1 week? 1 week because you will also be working on your other project. Well, this project is kind of similar to the most recent quiz, but it has more stuff in it. So I think it should be I think makita naman yung project na yun sa Dropbox, right? So yeah. Uh is there any questions about that or any clarifications you guys need about what I just said? Sige. Tapos, habang nagtatanong yan. If you've already submitted and you plan to resubmit, um, I guess depende if which one's higher, no? Either that one or your passing grade. Yeah, I guess that's the only thing I can do. If you like you submitted na tapos you want to want to put additional, yeah, di na siya, no? Either you that one or yung passing grade lang. So everything will be open until next week. Um, I'm not. I'm thinking if next week, kaya like start ko tomorrow, then end ko next week. Next week Wednesday. No. Not tomorrow. I'll have to check nga pala. Um, well, I'll start it by next week siguro. I'll start it next week, then maybe until next week. So I will just I will create an announcement for that para ma-notify kayong lahat na everything will be open. Just so uh makita nyo. I'll announce it naman. All right. So again, I'm not gonna open it today. I'll open it starting next week. Any more questions? None. Okay. Sige. So if there's no questions, all right. So we can start. Um, is there any questions from last week? Not last week. Last week's lo- lecture about OOP and complex object types. What was the last one? Complex object types. I think so. Yeah. None. Okay. So there's none. Sige. Now I was thinking of do of showing you how to do the last quiz. Problem is, it may take an hour plus for me to do it, and I think you're gonna be medyo sabog na after after you do that, no? Kasi medyo matagal yun eh. Kasi you have to create the different units, the mechanics of the level, interaction. So it will take roughly an hour plus, maybe an hour 30 pa nga to do it. So I think show it as a separate video. Pwede. Pwede. Hmm. Now that I think about it, all my previous videos also showed how to do the quizzes. Uh, uh yeah. You know what? That's fine. Maybe I'll just disable it for a while. Yung oh, it's gonna be kind of weird though if I disable the other quizzes. Eh, whatever. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be a lot if I try to do it now. So baka try to put a separate video. Uh, I may not include na lang that quiz sa pagbukas ng ibang quizzes. Yeah, but I think the hold on, let me check something. Uh, when it comes to grades, how is there a difference? Nah, yeah, there's no difference. Pero parehas lang naman yung yung what's this? Parehas lang naman yung score, yung grade niya for all quizzes. Meaning, kahit none of it is higher than the other. They're all equal. So baka I might not include quiz 3? Question mark. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, sige. I'll just have to I'll just upload na lang a ooh, separate video for that, just so you can see lang how yung thought process of it. Usually the when I create when I try to show you guys, it's more of like how I do it, more of like kind of on the spot kind of thing. Kaya can kind of help you in how what I think of when I try to work on these. Okay, so yeah, I'll just show you a separate video for that. But now we'll just talk about the current topic, which is about inheritance. All right. Um, sige, let me just start it off. All right, inheritance. Inheritance. What do you think about about the word inheritance? To inherit. What does that mean? What happens when you inherit? To gain something from something. Kinda. Not entirely just gain. Like, you have to think in how did they gain it? Okay. Family context. Yes. To inherit something passed down. Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah. 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 Totally it. Yeah. You get to use the class that you will inherit. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, in a family way, when you inherit something, let's say your parents will hand you down something. You are inheriting their heirloom, right? Or their whatever object that is, or maybe money, right? And maybe it can also be like what Lance said, just like when you inherit genetics, when you inherit, you could inherit the eye color of your parents, or you can inherit their height, their 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 what else, their looks, right? So that's when you inherit. So same thing with when it comes to to inherit inheritance in C++, you inherit the properties and behavior the class of a class. Sorry, right? So the thing is, remember what when I taught 2 weeks ago, when we had the archer and the killer bunny, right? You'd notice that we had almost the same functions and the same methods and properties. We had the name, HP power, move, get name, get HP, right? And the thing is, it's medyo overlapping yung parehas. They both have they both have HP, they both have power. And what happens if what if in general the designer wants to add something else. Maybe not just HP, but maybe they want to add MP or magic points. So that when you use a skill, it'll deduct it. I mean, of course, you'll check muna the MP if it's enough, right? That means you'll have to add for both Archer and for Killer Bunny. Paano if you're gonna add another unit? Maybe not Killer Bunny. Maybe you have a cyborg. Does that mean you have to mm, again input the same properties, the same functions, right? So that's the thing. Uh, they're sharing the same thing, so why not have them all share uh from one class? Okay. So yeah, remember, avoid copy pasting, because this is a lot of copy pasting. And also in the CVP would have been a lot of copy pasting, because you would have to they all do the same thing. They all do the same thing. So data and behavior can be shared and reused via inheritance. So in this case, we have a unit. This unit could have all the properties and behavior that all all characters would have. In this case, you have HP, you have name, you have uh, the other methods, right? That can be on the unit. Now, for the Archer and Killer Bunny, you would inherit it, and you would input something that is only exclusive for that class. So in this case, see Archer. Archer has a strafe skill. So Archer has a strafe skill. Killer Bunny has Crosscutter. In this case, Archer, since Strafe is very exclusive, it's exclusive for itself. That would be the only change. That would be the only additional thing when it inherits from unit. Same thing with Killer Bunny. The only additional thing that it will have is Crosscutter. So, oh wait, questions about this one, this part, inheritance or the idea of inheritance. You're technically just trying to share the properties and functions, but you'd want something different. You want to have maybe an exclusive method or property for the class. That's why you inherit. Okay, no questions. So, an object inherits properties and behaviors. Yeah, been saying that these classes are closely related to each other. So, we call the objects who inherits from these as subclasses or a derived class. So, yun yung proper naming. Yeah. Sometimes I say it's a child class. That's also right. Because technically it is like parent and child. So I call it a child class. But subclass and derived class works also. Inheritance is denoted by an is a relationship, meaning blank is a blank. What does that mean? It's like a parent and child again. Uh, let's say Archer. Archer is a unit. It has all the properties of and functions of unit, but the thing is, unit is not an archer. Is not a archer because archer has something different. Same thing with Killer Bunny, of course. Killer Bunny is a unit that has the functions and properties of unit, but again, unit is not. It cannot be a Killer Bunny because it has something different. So a subclass can only inherit from one parent class. So remember that you cannot inherit from multiple parents. You can only inherit just from one. Right? It's there's no possible way. It can only just come from one class. Inheritance is hierarchical. It can be chained or nested. Right. What does this mean? So you can have a you can derive from one class that is derived from another class that is derived from another class, etc., etc. This way, maybe you want to group things together, no? Like so, from unit, to group you want to separate the melee class from the range class. Then from that, you can put all the melee classes for like maybe Killer Bunny, maybe a warrior. Then for range class, you can have archers and whatnot. So you could do this because you want melee to have different uh, functions or behavior than the range class, right? So like, because you have like melee attack, range class could have a ranged attack, right? So you can have those two. Um, Again, it says here not recommended, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. No, it's a really a case to case basis. Then an object cannot pick what can it be inherited. Everything that is set to public or protected will be inherited. So this is what I also told you about noon, having public and protected. What does this mean? So when you inherit, you can actually choose to not show or to not have any access for the chat. I mean the chat class, you can choose for the chat class to not have any access to some of your properties and functions. Right? If you make it private, it only can you can only use these properties and functions within that class, within that script. If you create a child class, you're not gonna have any access to that. If you have protected, if you read what protected is, it means you can have access. The child class can have access to a protected variable or function in the parent class, but it cannot be accessed from outside. So if you try to, let's say, uh, like you cannot call it from another class, you cannot call it from another script. That's protected. It is only within the parent and the child classes. So same thing. If you try to like nest, so like it's the class derived from a class derived from a class. As long as it's protected, you can access it throughout. So that's the thing about protected. Then finally, again, you have public. Public, you can access it anywhere. You can access it from another class. You can access it from the child class. So that's public. Finally, subclass can choose to change or append the implementation of the inherited methods. Right. So I won't be teaching you this one. That's more of polymorphism. But if you know OP, no. Um, later on, you can choose to have to inherit a a method, but you can choose to maybe change it on what it does. So pwede yun. So let's say a unit has an attack. Then if you want in the archer, you could change it maybe a different way. Maybe you want it to have some additional behavior. Maybe you wanted to times two the damage, maybe, or maybe you wanted to do something else, like maybe increase, maybe like crit chance or something like that. Yeah, so you can do that. You can choose to change some of the functions or methods. Questions, clarification. Gets nyo ba to? Is there any questions for this or any of the points? All good. Ah, so protected, just imagine it can only be accessed from the parent class and for the child classes. You cannot access it outside. So in this case, I'll show you. For, let's say, Archer, if I had a protected, uh, let's say protected here, I don't have access to it in the in the outside of it. Where's my right? I don't have access to. Ooh, I don't have access to it. It's from outside. This is outside. But if I create a child class, so I'm gonna go ahead and just create a child class for Archer. Class um Archer child is coming from Archer. This is right? Maybe. Archer. Hold on, Archer. Why aren't you? Okay, whatever. Right. So in here, you'll see that no, let me just make the ano. Ah, ay, mali pa yung spelling. Uh, right. So you'll see here that I have access to test. This is the Archer's test. So you can only access it within uh, the chat class, within the class itself. But outside, I am not able to access it. Outside meaning anywhere else that out from the class, I don't have access. Okay, so that's just as protected. It's you're protecting it from outside, basically. Parang ganun. Oh my god, wrong spelling. Okay. Any more questions? I'll show you. I'll show you how it works. Parang never seen protected private. So why would you want to have protected? I why would you want private pala if you can just be protected? There are times where you just want to where you don't want to show how things are done from the parent class, or maybe there are things that you don't want to share to the child classes or the derived classes. So what are these things? Maybe you want um because later on when you work with other programmers, you maybe you want to just show certain functions variables so that they don't mess up your code. Because what if, let's say, uh wait lang ah, may inisip akong ano, what do you want to private? Hmm, okay. So maybe you want to private the MP? Maybe? No, no, not really. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I'm thinking. Uh, what's a good reason? I mean, a good example of using private and protected. I'm thinking. I'm just asking to myself. I'm sorry. Uh, okay. What if, let's say, for unit, you want something that only works for itself. You're not planning to use it for anything outside. That's where you use private. Maybe like on how to move, on how to do things, certain things that all units do, but you don't want to share it, like how it works and stuff. You can make it private. But if you have something that you plan to use for the child classes, you can make it to protected. So like example, maybe Archer. Right now we have these as private. Sure. But the thing is, if I create a child class of Archer, I don't have access to these anymore. So uh, maybe that's fine. Maybe that's a problem. Sometimes it's more of like you have to know later on. Or maybe when you create a child class, then you find out na, oh, I need this on the child class. Then you can put it to protected. So only do protected if you think you're gonna use it on your child classes or you're gonna actually use it in your child classes. That's it lang. Okay lang na private until you find out that okay, I need this pala. I need this for my child class. Then make it protected. So it's really up to you. Um, Sometimes it's not agad-agad na ano, malaman mo. Hindi naman agad na malaman mo na kailangan ko to naka-protected. It's not always the case. Same thing with maybe you have some other private like to calculate HP. What if what if you needed it pala for your child class? Then just make it protected. So it's not really ano, it's not really something you will know right away. Okay. So again, private, you cannot access it from your child class. Protected, you can access it from your child class. Both, you're not able to access it outside of the class. You cannot call it, you cannot access it, etc. etc. Outside. Okay. Any more questions? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Maybe I have to. Maybe I can show you a um example pa later. Okay. So writing the base class. So what we have that are similar is again these uh move, attack, HP, name, power, uh the set HP, set name, set power. I didn't have that pala, no. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's create a new class. Unit. So again, you know what? Medyo nandito na tayo. Um, Include. Okay, what do we need? Right, string. String include iOS stream and also using namespace. We need weapon. No. Okay. So we know that all units have name, HP, power. All units have move. Strafe. This is only for archer. I didn't have weapon because weapon could be only for some classes. Maybe Killer Bunny does not have a weapon. So let's not put that in. So get HP. We also have the void set power void. Oops, sorry. And void set name. So this is all for unit. Let me just do this. Ano nga ba to? Unit. Yeah, okay. Oh, right. Kailangan ko rin ng unit. I could also create the unit with the int HP, int power, and oh, string name. Nope, nope, nope. Why are you making it here? Okay. You have unit, 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 unit with the string name and power. Oh, and HP and power. I have the unit move, unit. Oops, I'm missing something. Hmm. Ah, right, sorry. Void. And also void get HP. No, that's not void. That's int. Int get HP. MP. Ah, no, not MP. Power get name. The set HP. Void unit set HP int HP. Right, so we have all of this for unit. Right, attack. So we also have attack. Now, since we are planning to have everything or have all, inherit all the units inherit from unit, you remember that in Archer we have attack Killer Bunny. Well, only because what we were trying to attack was the Killer Bunny. Same thing with Killer Bunny. Killer Bunny has attack. Oh, she doesn't have it. Right, it's supposed to have it. So instead, we will have void attack unit, meaning we can just use any unit here in case, let's say, we have maybe multiple child classes already. Maybe you have cyborg, you have um, boar, uh, ogre, whatever. We can use it here because they are technically a child class of unit. Okay, so remember, if you're a child class of something, you are also this, meaning archer is a unit. Um, our killer bunny is also a unit. Boar could be a unit also, because again, they're all just sharing the variables. So yeah, this is all the generic stuff: attack, move, the the unit here. So yeah, we also have the private stuff here. We move complex components. So yeah, because maybe we only want the complex components like weapon to be in archer or um, some other classes. So we remove those because not everyone uses, not all the units uses weapon. And then for the derived class, so how do we do that? I kind of showed you it a while ago. Oh wait, questions about this one? Like why kaya void attack is unit? Any questions? None? None. Okay. So for the for the derived class or child class, again, how to do that? So add class. Actually, no. Uh, yeah, yeah, whatever. We're here already. Just let's call it. What did you call it here? Call it Archer. Oh, I'm just gonna put Archer class, okay? Because it's gonna mess up with the Archer here. This is derived from unit. Ayan. So now Archer class here is derived from unit. It shares the same uh all of this. It's sharing it, but we want to add something. We want to add strafe. What else did you want to add? Private. Ah, include weapon. In here, we also have the weapon class. Um, we also have maybe int num arrows. Okay, so these ones these ones are exclusively for Archer. These are the things that are different from unit. That's why we added here. We still have the other functions of unit. We still have the get HP, get powers, set HP, move, attack. We still have that. We just added these functions and variables. We added strafe and we added these variables. We're just putting it on top now. So you don't have to rewrite the common variables. So only write the things that are no, that are exclusive to the or the things that you want to add to your unit as an archer. So anything with public or protected access modifiers are inherited. Uh, so syntax for inheriting is derive public. Yeah. So this is what it looks like. This one here. So if you put a colon here, that means we are inheriting from unit. So this is the class. We're inheriting it from this. So if I say archer here, for example lang, archer class is now inheriting from archer. So it now has some of it's now sharing the other has a the attack, the move, whatever. It's inheriting from it. So if it's unit, we are now inheriting all of these instead. So you cannot have multiple. Remember, you cannot inherit from multiple classes. It's not possible. Okay, questions? Clarification here? None. Okay. Inheriting constructors. So you remember that we had this constructor. Um, ano na pala to? We have this constructor with a string name. So we have like mname is equal to name, mhp is equal to hp, power is equal to power. So we can inherit from this constructor. So let's say we have a public archer class. So this is specifically only for for constructors. Nope, we're in the wrong one. Not here. Right. So you see here, uh, it has no default constructor. Let me just check. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, whatever. Okay. So what if I want to use the constructor, this constructor instead when I, oops, where's that? If I want to call this one, so if you want to call that one, you can just do colon and then unit something, colon unit. Then you have your um, the name you want, the HP and the power. So you can go like Archer 100, then agad-agad. So you could do this. If so, what happens if I try to call Archer class, it'll already call the base class, the parents constructor. So it'll automatically do this one. So I think I can choose to have to remove this. It should not have the, yeah. A while ago it was having error. This one. It was having error here because it had no default constructor. Because by default, it is doing this already. And the thing is, we don't have that one here. That is why it's saying there's no default constructor. So if you want, you can just do this and it will call the other constructor that you have. Okay. Uh-huh. So you can also have more. Maybe not just Archer class, but Archer class, um, string name, and power, and HP, and in power. Wait now. I have spelling issues right now. And so you can also do this. So we're now calling unit, and we can go where name, and then HP power. So this way, if we try to call Archer class with the H in name HP power, it will also call the unit's um, base base constructor. All right. So medyo special for constructors. Questions? So again, you can also put stuff in here for like num arrows. You can also, if you want, you can even put additional here, maybe in num arrows, if you want. So you'll have like num arrow here. So yeah, you could do that. You'll see that this has more parameters than the base unit. It's okay. You just have to properly connect things together. Because right now unit uses name HP power. So this is where I used it. Name HP power. Okay. Questions? Clarification for that one? So medyo special case. Special cases for constructors. No questions? Okay. So using the derived classes, methods from the parent class are still accessible. We can also call the method class methods exclusive to each derived class. So let me just do that part. So we have all of this. Let me check what we have in Archer. See, oops, this one. Da, 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 da. Let's do the moving here. The moving, the attack. So the attack, we can still use the attack, but we have to change something. Unit and weapon. So what do we have here? Weapon, up, none. So we have no weapon here. Money enemy. So instead we have unit. Unit set HP. Oh wait, never mind. We already. Oh whatever, we're here already. Set HP. So what's this? Unit get HP minus damage, and then count um M name damaged damaged unit get name or just name with the amount of damage. So yeah, that's that one. Return MHP. Return power. Oops, no. Return M power. Return M name. Power is equal to power. Name is equal to, oops, M name is equal to name. MHP is equal to HP if MHP is less than 0. MHP.
Excuse me, sir. I don't know if it's just on my end, but your stream is currently not visible po.
Oh, really?
Wait, never mind. Never mind. It's visible again.
How about now? Is it visible?
Opo.
Oh, okay.
It was just for us a moment, but it's fixed na po.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. Sige, thank you for letting me know. Let me know again if it has it again. If it does that again. Okay, so that's HP. That's for unit. For Archer, well, the Archer class. Archer class. Wait. Ah, sorry. Panicked a bit there. Archer class. So we have strafe. The void strafe. Oops. Void Archer class. Strafe. Let me just cut here. Using strafe. So you notice here, I have no access to mname or mpower. And that could be a problem, right? Right now, I don't have access to name here. So I could do is maybe not private, but protected. So now all of these are protected. I should now have access to m name here. M name. So it really depends. It really depends on how you may use it for your child classes. Strafe. Then for Killer Bunny, let me just make a new one. Add Killer Bunny class. So right now I'm just adding class because I have a Killer Bunny here. Para lang may iba. But you don't have to. You don't have to put class. This is unit. So this one, we said that um, what does Killer Bunny have? Cross cutter. Cross cutter. So we can go count m name. Eesh. Using cross cutter. Okay. Let's get rid of all of this first. So now we have our archer class. Archer class. And Killer Bunny class. So we have the same thing. Archer class. Archer is equal to new archer class. Oops. You can give it a name. This is archer 1. Then 100. Then 10. And also Killer Bunny class. Killer Bunny. Let's go to new Killer Bunny class. And you'll see I don't have whatever archer class has. Because I did was our Killer Bunny just has public cross cutter. It doesn't have the constructor. Hence, I'm not able to do this. I could do. So this might be kind of confusing. I could do this. Supposedly. Nope, I cannot do that anymore. Right, this is not C sharp. Let me just create another constructor for this. Killer bunny class string name int hp int power. And then this is using unit name hp power. This could be empty. You can literally just leave this empty, just so you could properly do uh, implement here, right? So we have killer bunny 50 10 10 ah 20. Oh, 20. Wait. Ayan. So What did I do? Okay. So we can do the same thing again. Archer. Oh my god. Archer. Attack. Killer. Bunny. So why does this work? Remember, Killer Bunny is a child class of unit. That is why I'm able to use it here. It is a child class. And same thing for the Killer Bunny, Attack, Archer. Because they are child classes of unit. That is why this is possible. You can also, again, access the strafe. Because I made it public. Killer Bunny also have, we can have access to Crosscutter. And you'll see here that, ayan. So Archer 1 damage Killer Bunny with 50 damage. Uh, Archer 1 is using Strafe. Killer Bunny damage Archer 1 with 20 damage. Killer Bunny is using Crosscutter. Right? So you have access to those. This way, you'll notice that uh, all your unit, the unit has all the general classes, general variables and methods, right? And then within Archer and Killer Bunny, we only have the ones uh that are exclusive to it, like weapon, arrows, strafe. In this case, for Killer Bunny, we have Crosscutter. You could also have loot here, maybe. Boy, like public. No, protected. No, no, private. Money, maybe. You want something like that. Um, maybe a void on death. Right, something like that. All right, questions here? Clarification? So you have access. You have access to all the well, again, all the other variables and methods of unit as long as you follow it's following public or protected. The moment if it's private, you don't have access to it anymore. Okay. hmm So yeah, what I told you again before, maybe not set HP. You could do maybe void take damage, take damage, and then end HP, and maybe void heal. This like this a previous was this a previous or maybe previous lecture, so that we can go like MHP minus equals HP, and then if wala lang just to ano, just to make it more specific. Okay, questions, clarification about this one, or about inheritance in general? So again, we are literally just adding it lang. We're just adding more things to the base class when we inherit. Now, what if you don't even want to add anything at all? You don't want to maybe everything is just a unit. Then that's fine. Don't have to create a child class for it. Because if you're not going to add anything naman, why create a child class? There's no use. We only create a child class or a derived class if you have something that is different from its parent. Because in here, let's say you just create a unit bore, bore, uh, 21. This can still work. You can have archer attack the boar. See, same thing. If it doesn't have anything new to it, sure. Or maybe you want, like we said a while ago, you could nest it. Maybe you want unit, then you have the enemies, and then you want to split the enemy from playable characters. Sure, you can do that. And then you have the archer class, and then whatever, right? Because what if enemy you want to have like XP, gold, etc., etc. So you could do that. Basically, you'll be able to access almost any functions the class currently has. Yes, you have access to it as long as it's public and protected. If it's private, then you don't have access to it. So, like I said, not all should be protected. Maybe you want to hide some functions or some properties, right? There are those cases. Right now, not really evident that you need those. But later on, you find out that you don't want this to be shared. You don't want other people to access this, or else it will mess up your code or your behavior, the behavior of your class. That's why we only want we hide things. Um, in OOP, that's called encapsulation. You want to encapsulate. You only want to share things that are um, that you want the other classes or the child classes or the reg classes need, but you only want to hide things that no one will need it. That you want to just keep it to itself. Okay. Questions? Clarification? So this is just the first half. There's actually more to this. Like a while ago, I said that um maybe you want to have attack do something else. In this case, remember we have weapon, right, for the archer class, and we want to use it sana. We want to use it for the attack. And we already have attack here. Attack, which is just uh unit set HP, etc., etc., right? But I want to use attack. You want to use the weapon here. So later on, you'll find out about overriding a method, or in this case, it's polymorphism. You use this, but we change its behavior on the child class. So you learn about that next time. Okay? Questions? Clarification? None? Okay. So, if there are no questions, technically, you could start. You could start the next. I think this should be open, no? I'm pretty sure this has been open since the start. Uh, this one though, this may change depending on our calendar. Kasi alam ko, nag-change. Yeah, what did he do to this? Ooh. Anyway, sorry. Just kind of got disgusted there. They changed the calendar, I think. because of last week's one whole week of no classes. Ano ko, they should have added additional week. Yeah. Ano ko, they should have added an additional week. So if they didn't, we may have to change. We'll keep this pa rin, 19. But if they did add a week, I could extend it for another week. Yeah. Okay. Questions? None? Okay. So, again, if there are no questions, you could start working on your next project. Um, opening the grading the your quiz maybe by the end of the week. Next week, I may open the previous quizzes and exercises. However, passing grade lang yung makuha nyo. That's the highest that you can get, no matter how complete your your work is. Only passing lang. Then what else? Again, I'm sorry. I will announce that pa rin. I'll announce it to you guys. Para everyone is the same. I'll announce it here. I'll announce it in Big Sky if I open the quizzes and exercises. Okay. Questions? Clarification? None? Will the recordings be available hours after this class? Yeah, yeah. I'll upload it to not tonight. Tomorrow morning. Yeah, well about that, uh as long as you ask naman, I'm gonna upload it right away, right? So, yes, kind of my part na mali yun. Another part is you could you could message me naman. You could message me if you need it right away. Sure. All right. So, yeah, any more questions? Clarification? It's not your fault. It's like my fault also. So, if there's no other questions or clarification, I guess that's it. That's it for today. You all can have your evening and I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye bye.